Hello, everyone.
Let's go.
Hello.
Scott.
Can we start with Paul McTaggart, please?
Hi Scott, Paul McTaggart, Celtic
Hello,
Fans
Paul.
Media.
How are you?
Not bad for you.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Before I ask my question, I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone at Celtic Fans TV for everything you've given to the club in the last 14 years.
Thank you very much. It's been enjoyable 14 years, that's for sure.
My question is about leadership, and you've obviously been so successful as the Celtic captain, but what I want to know is, in your opinion, what strengths do you need to be the captain of this club, and who do you see those strengths from in the current squad?
I think you've got to be very strong-willed, especially nowadays as well with social media and everything that's out there, because, let's be honest, social media is not exactly the nicest place in the world after you get a defeat. So I think that's one of the things that you've got to make sure that you create a good environment in the change room. We're all together, you socialise together, you go for meals, you're touch tight to each other as well as on the field as well as off the field. And I think that's the biggest one. And you've also got to be working around good people, and that comes from recruitment as well, and they bring in good people into the change room, into our environment, and they've all got to not abide by our rules but make sure they join in, whether it's team meals, whether it's working hard in training. And it's the standard that everybody sets, and it's been set here for such a long time. And I had Stephen McManus as a captain beforehand, and he set that standard. Now then it was up to me to go make sure I continue to set that standard, whether it was in training or about the building as well. And we've got people like James Forrest and Callum McGregor that are ready to do that. They help me so much right now as well. And we've had people like Lustig and even Glenn Loovens when I first started at Celtic being captain. He was a huge help to myself as well.
Can we have Scott McCrory, please?
Hey Scotty boy, how you doing?
I am fantastic, Scott. Yourself? You're looking well, my man.
Right, so 13 seasons, 22 trophies, 5 managers, countless teammates, couple of red cards in there and all. So after all the highs and lows, was there ever an occasion you were close to leaving? And when would that be? And how close?
I've had a couple of occasions. I've obviously had the one going to Australia. I sat down, spoke to the team in Australia, and I just realised it wasn't for me. I sat with Peter, and he was fantastic at the time, and so was Brendan as well. Brendan gave me the opportunity to go and explore a couple of different options and areas as well. I had the chance to go to Newcastle when Neil Lennon was the manager. My contract was running out, and the gaffer spoke to us and spoke very highly of what he wanted me to do, how he wanted me to be about the place, and how he wanted me to continue being captain when he was a manager. So I had a couple of little sniffs, but obviously had the chance to go to Tottenham Hotspurs as well when Harry Redknapp was there, and he spoke about it a couple of times as well. It was my second season in at Celtic, and it was just one of those ones I was just starting to enjoy the club, starting to really get to know what it was expected, what the standards was to hit week in, week out. And Gordon was the manager, and I was learning a lot from himself. So I was really enjoying my football at the time, and didn't see that being a great move for myself at the time. So no, I've had a couple of opportunities, and then there's the Aberdeen one that obviously taking the opportunity to go, but it's a different situation and it's different timing. And though I think looking back at my time, this is the perfect time for me to be moving clubs. I'm going to be 36 in the summer. I've got the opportunity to go in as be an assistant coach, to work with a manager that's also a friend as well, and but also play football as well, which I feel like I can play another season or two, and that's what I wanted to do. And the other times when I was maybe going to go to Australia or Newcastle or Tottenham back at the time, I didn't see that as the right move at the right time for myself and the family as well. So I think this ticks all the boxes. Thanks for the question. Cheers, my man.
Hamish, please.
Hi Scott, it's Hamish from 67 Hill Hill. Again, I just want to put forward my thanks on behalf of 67 Hill Hill personally as well. You've given me some amazing memories that I'll never forget.
Thank you very
Your
much.
time at the club, 14 years you've been at the club, mainly highs, some lows as well. I'm just wondering what lessons and advice you would have for your successor as Celtic captain.
It's a hard one, to be fair. I think you've got to deal with the lows very well. You've always got to believe in your teammates as well. You know, the one good thing about Celtic is there's a game every 3 or 4 days. So it's that bounce back mentality that we've got. And as long as everybody's together, you've got to believe in each other. You've got the willingness to run through walls for each other. And all, as I said before, you've got to be touch tight together as a team. We've won 9 trophies in a row, and it was incredible because we worked so hard together, and that was individually and collectively as well. So I think it's those things that you've got to try and bring everybody together, which we've got people in that dressing room that want to be a huge part of this club and that want to push the club forward, and that's what you want. You want people to stay at this club for a long time and understand what a great club it is, because as I say, I've had the opportunities to move before, but I never wanted to leave because the fans, the stadium, and to be around the teammates as well and the managers that I've had and that I've learned underneath has been exceptional. Thank you.
We've got a different James Forrest.
Wee Jimsy, come on pal, how you looking?
Yeah, how you doing, Scott?
You've no changed, my man.
I'm feeling a bit weight as usual.
I was going to say you've lost a bit, your Barnett's looking better as well, but each their own.
First up, mate, I want to say, I want to echo what everybody else has said and say thank you for 14 incredible years. You've been a phenomenal servant to the club and an absolutely phenomenal captain. You had a bit of a slow start at Celtic.
Cheers. Good start.
The day that I remember, the day I remember most, when I said to my mates, this guy is going to be a huge part of this club for years to come, was 4 years into your Celtic career. I'm sure it's an afternoon you remember well. 6th of February 2011 at Ibrox. We lose the goalkeeper, 2-1 down, and you scored that incredible goal. I mean, the hairs in the back of my neck still stand up when I think about it. What do you remember about that afternoon? How did you handle being captain with so much pressure that day? And the enormity of the task. I still think it's one of the best games I've seen you play. You were just phenomenal the whole afternoon. The way you dragged the whole team up was a proper captain's performance. And it's one of the best performances I ever saw.
No, that day was very good, but I think the first 4 years I really enjoyed. Second year I got Player of the Year, Scotland, best player in Scotland, but obviously for your opinion, I shouldn't have got that one. But we'll not worry about that. No, I think that day was exceptional. It was one of those ones, got a man sent off early, then we've got to dig deep, and Lenny was the manager and he had full belief in the lads and he understood it was going to be hard. We weren't going to have as much as the ball as possible, but he believed that if we can sneak a draw, we can take them back to Celtic Park and that we could beat them in the next round. In the replay, which we managed to do. But no, it was a great occasion because I think the middle of the park was me and Key, and then somehow ends up getting drafted out to right mid because we got a man sent off. So it was me and Mark Wilson, and while I was doing overlaps, I was doing underlaps, and we were working it as hard as we possibly could because we knew how much it meant to us as well to try and dig deep and to try and get through in this round. And to be perfectly honest, well, as I say, I keep saying I don't know what Willow was doing that high up the park at that time, because he's went that high up the park. I'm playing right mid, I'm somehow at the edge of the box, so if we've lost that ball, we're in danger of counter-attack. And it's those things when you're a little bit younger that you're maybe a little bit naive about, that you push on a little bit and you believe in each other and you think that you're going to score and you're going to create chances. And then now I'm probably thinking, would I be that far up the park if I lost the ball? I've got a 70-yard sprint back and they've got an extra man in the park. So no, it's different ways that you understand the game and you learn. But that occasion, it was extremely special because somehow Willow got the ball, chopped it back to myself, and I opened up my body on my left foot and managed to put it in the faraway corner. And it was brilliant with the fans behind the goal. And when we used to get the full side as well, it was exceptional. And the fans that day, it was great because we knew that we had to dig deep and there was still a little bit time to go, but we managed to hold on and be strong. And it's those days that make and break teams, and that was one of those occasions that made us.
Joe McHugh.
You sound like you remember like it was yesterday, Scott.
It's a wee while ago now. I was a young fit lad running up and down the line.
Okay, it's
For everybody who, I mean, some of your critics are coming out of the woodwork again, and you know, guys like Colin and Nicholas, and, you know, talking about, he was a good captain, but he wasn't a great player. They didn't watch you after. That was a world-class performance that afternoon, absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
thanks, James. We're going to Joe McHugh, please.
You're muted, Joe. Can't hear you, mate.
Oh, you're on mute.
Still on mute.
Joe, you hiding for me?
Right, we'll come back to Joe. Natasha.
Hi Scott, Natasha
Hello.
from Celtic State of Mind, and we all just want to pass on our thanks for everything you've achieved for the club and the incredible success that you've brought. My question is stemming from last night's Celtic TV tributes. We heard from players like Ayer, McGregor, Tierney, all saying that you've been the most influential player they've played with in terms of their own careers. What I want to know is, which player during your time at Celtic would you say has had the most influence on your career and its development?
That's a great question. I think right at the start, I think I'm going to have to say Paul Hartley. We had a kind of love-hate relationship when he was at Hearts and I was at Hibs, and we obviously came together in Scotland. We met up a few times, we got on really well, but as soon as we went in that park, we pretty much fought like cat and dog. But as soon as we came into a changing room, we had a great bond, and to this day I still speak to him all the time, ask for advice, and to be fair, he's a manager now, so I'm always willing to learn. But he was huge in the dressing room at the time, and the two of us were in the same position, and whether I was playing centre midfield or he was playing centre midfield, we'd always look out for each other, but he would also give you that little bit of respect and sit you down and say what you could have done better and how we could have worked together as a team. And I think it's sometimes somebody puts an arm around you that you don't expect, and I also had that with Neil Lennon as well. When I first came to the club, me and Lennon used to fight as well, and so many pictures of two of us standing face to face and arguing. We used to, both players just want to win. You do whatever you can to win the game, and it was the first day when Neil was leaving and I'd signed, and I was sitting in the manager's room just waiting on the Gordon coming down with Peter, and Lenny walks in, and I'm thinking, this is my worst nightmare at this moment in time. And we sat down, we ended up having a conversation for half an hour, 40 minutes, and he told me his love for the club and how fantastic the club is and how special it's going to be, and he's sad that he's leaving. And I'm starting to understand it now, because it's me that's leaving, and I'm the guy that's slightly older, and I'm talking to the younger lads, and I'm sure they're probably not taking much of it in at the moment, because they're just living the dream that they are and playing football and enjoying it, where I've had that, I've experienced it and loved every single moment of it, and now it's coming to their end, and you've just got to try and enjoy it as much as you possibly can.
The Celtic Exchange, please.
Thank you.
Hi Scott, it's Taylor here from the Celtic Exchange. Scott, just to echo what the rest of the guys have said, thanks for such an important and successful 14 years, and also good luck to you and your family with the next chapter.
Thank you.
Scott, you've got a certain inner drive and a real strong mental side to your game. I just want to ask, where did that come from? Is it something you had from a young age, or did you develop that as you got older?
It's just something that came naturally. If you ask everybody, loud, I'm lively about the training ground. I enjoy a laugh and I enjoy a joke as well. I pretty much still think I'm 17-year-old, to be perfectly honest. But as soon as I go into training, as soon as I cross the line into a match, it's like 100%. And it was just drilled into me throughout my footballing career. As soon as you go out in that pitch, you work hard. And I had some fantastic coaches when I was coming through at Hibs, and they drilled that into me early doors. And they says, you can have a laugh and joke about here, but as soon as you cross that line, that's it, it's switched on. And it's always been in the back of my head, and to be perfectly, it's worked well for myself. And it's just that mentality thing that as soon as you go over there, I know I want to win the game. I want to get the better of my opponent. So no matter what it takes, I need to make sure that I know what I'm doing for set plays. I know where I am for corners, where I should be, who I should be marking as well. So it's all just ticking over and making sure that you know what you need to know before you go out, and whatever the manager is or Kendo tells you just before. And sometimes there's slight tweaks and stuff like that, or the formation or how we're going to press, and it's just remembering that and making sure that not just myself but everybody else knows their job as well. And I think the game's getting more and more professional, and the game's getting more tactically based now, and you need to understand that side of the game, so you have to make sure you're switched on, you're aware of that now. Thank you.
Anthony Whitelaw.
Hi Scott, how you doing?
Hello.
Just to say again, thanks very much for the last 14
Tell me you're no driving.
No, I'm not. The batteries is working, that one next to it, so I've been popped in the house to do this.
Quite right.
Just to say, thanks very much. The last 4 years especially have been incredible. Celtic are now getting into a big rebuild, of course. You've been part of them before when Rodgers came in. We had a bit of a shake end to that season, and we bounced back and won an invincible treble. How does Celtic bounce back into next year? Because obviously the aim has to be to win the league back immediately.
Yeah, well, they've got new CEO. They'll have a new captain coming in. They'll have a new manager, or John will be in charge, and it'll be a fresh start because there's a lot of players in loan. There's a lot of players leaving the club and coming and going. So it's a hard thing to accept as a Celtic fan, but the club's in good stead. We've got Dominic coming in, who's got a great vision of the future for Celtic, how we can rebuild, how we can go forward. We've got great young players coming through as well, as you seen yesterday, coming on from the bench and starting as well. So no, the future's bright for Celtic. It's going to be hard work, but there's everybody in here. They're all working for the same goal, and it's to get the best 11 that we possibly can on the park, and the best young players coming through at the club as well, because we want to bring the young players through. We've got a great academy all the way through, and there's no point having Lennoxtown if we're not going to use it properly. And you're starting to see that now with people like Kieran, Callum, Jamesy, all done that in the first team. Now we're starting to see other ones coming through now. So it's great that we've got that youth coming through into the first team to push the first team lads as well, and to understand that once you make that step for the under-20s or the under-18s, and how big a step it is, you become a man overnight, and you need to take those responsibilities on, and you have to push forward. But they're also living the dream as well, to play in front of 60,000 fans once we'll eventually get fans back to the stadium. So it's those things that will be in a great way in the next season, and I'm sure the club will push everyone to as far as they possibly can, so we're all going in the same direction.
Magic, thanks very much. Best of luck at Aberdeen, Scott. Cheers.
Thank you, my man. Thank you.
David Faulds.
Hi, Scott.
Hello, David.
Thanks, first of all, in particular, for carrying the team this season. Yourself and Callum have done that in what has been a very difficult season for us as a support, and I'm sure for myself as a player. I'd like to ask you about the special relationship you've got with the various Rangers clubs that have been in existence over the time that you've been at Celtic. You've had a couple of run-ins, and you've had more trouble than probably anybody since Neil Lennon from them. And I just wonder why you get under their skin so much. You could tell us why.
Just win games. Just become a winner. That's what Celtic's all about. This club wants to win games. We want to win championships. We want to win trebles, quadruple trebles. That's part and parcel. And I think there's a lot of people that want to knock you down when you're at the top, and this club's been at the top for so long, and there's a lot of people obviously hurting a lot, but the club's been in a great position for the last 9 years when we've won 9 in a row, and there's always going to be people out there, and it doesn't help with social media as well. There's a lot of people out there that are keyboard warriors that wouldn't say anything to you if they were standing in front of you. So it's not too much for myself to worry about. I go out there, I enjoy football, I play with a smile on my face. We win the game, I'm delighted. We lose the game, I'm a bit of a nightmare, but it's part and parcel of being at Celtic. You want to win games, you want to win trophies, and that's what you have to do.
Good luck at Aberdeen, Scott.
Thank you.
Erin Boyle.
Hi, Scott. Erin Boyle, more than 99.
Were you singing yesterday?
Singing? No, I was...
A poem?
Poem?
Yes, I seen it.
Did you like it?
Yes, much appreciated. Thanking you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott. I really appreciate that. I would just like to say a big thank you from the More Than 90 Minutes team and also from the Caring Foundation as well for being a fantastic servant as a charity patron. So thank you very much from both teams and also from 10,000 kids as well. So
Yeah, not a problem whatsoever.
my question is, over the years, you have graced a number of our More Than 90 Minutes covers, and if we also have a time machine on our Celtic Soul podcast. So if you could jump into that time machine and travel back in time, what memory or moment or game would you relive and why?
I think it would probably be the double treble. I think because everyone expected us to not go and do it again, and for the bunch of lads and how hard we worked, we done the first treble invincible. We went 69 games undefeated, and then we ended up getting beat 4-0 for Hearts. But I think that game, to go back into the air to relive that would be incredible, because the occasion, getting on the bus coming back down London Road as well, and seeing all the fans, and I seen people jumping on top of police cars and police vans and celebrating with flags and everything, and it was those occasions that I'm going to live with and I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life, because it's those special memories, and especially when so many people write you off saying you've done the treble, that'll be you, and then we go and we keep pushing and you do double, treble and then quadruple, and it's just we kept pushing boundaries as far as we possibly could, and that's what these lads wanted to do. They've worked so hard over the years, and I know we had a slight year off, but it's been fantastic. It's been a great journey, and I've enjoyed every single moment of it. But I think that one would be the one that I'd love to go back, just to show everybody how well we've done and that we can do it again, and that they kept supporting us and kept having the faith in us as well.
Thank you so much, Scott, and also don't be shy to keep no events. We would love to have you back, and good luck at Aberdeen, but of course as long as it's not against Celtic.
Not a problem whatsoever. Thank you very much appreciated.
John Reid.
I don't know if he's dropped off, Sharon. I don't see him.
I think he was having problems connecting earlier. Let's go to 20-minute Tims.
Hello, hi Scott, how are you getting on?
I am getting on very well. Yourself?
Good man, good. Just the same as everyone else. Just want to say thanks very much for all the hard work and all the performances and all the great memories that you've given us. Some of my best memories watching Celtic of me watching you, particularly against Rangers. Some of those games where you've absolutely lost it has been absolutely brilliant. Some of the best experiences and the best times I think you might have had and the most success came under Brendan Rodgers, and I've heard you say in the past that he helped you change your game and adapt your game in midfield, and I was just wondering, what did Brendan Rodgers say to you when he first came in, and how did he help you change your game? Because I remember at the time, once Ronnie left, there was a lot of talk about you maybe moving on or being finished or maybe only having a season or two left in you. How did Brendan help revitalise you, and how did he help you change your game?
It was very, very positive. His first day I met him in his own house. We sat down, we chatted, and he was like, can you be as honest as possible? How long do you think you can play? How fit are you? Can you get fitter? Do you think the team could get fitter? How can we get better? And we sat for a good couple of hours and we chatted through the whole situation. And he was like, no, he says, I see you, everybody sees you as just an automatic runner. You run about the game and everyone thinks you're fit, and that's part and parcel of your game, and that's it. And they don't see the qualities that you've got with the ball. And I was like, oh, nobody's ever really says that to me before, so it's kind of taken back a little bit. So I was like, all right, no problem. So he was like, pre-season, come back, work extremely hard. And to be fair, I spoke to Gordon Strachan a couple of months beforehand, and he says, go away, work as hard as you possibly can, show this new manager how fit you are, how much you're willing to learn, and you're willing to adapt your game as well. So the manager comes in, he's setting up shapes and stuff like that. In the first game, I end up playing left wing, and I'm thinking he's messing with the wrong guy here if he thinks I'm going to be doing step overs and Cruyff turns and whipping balls in. I know he's talking about adapting my game, but I've never been a tricky winger. So he was like, no, I'm just wanting to learn different shapes, different styles, and show you my philosophy on how we work and how we build up in the different shapes. So I'm totally fine. A couple of games down the line, boom, centre midfield, hold the midfielder. I want you to do the arc and hold in there, just sit, pivot, get on the ball, keep it nice and simple. As soon as we lose it, good high tempo pressing up the park and make sure we're all squeezing together as a team. It was like, you're my captain, you're my voice on the park, so whatever I tell you and how we build up and how we work in training, I want you to try and push onto that onto the lads. And it was like, I'm talking about your diet, I'm talking about how we look outside from inside, that everyone came in the same training gear, we look smart, not anyone with headphones on, not earrings in training and stuff like that. We all looked as sharp as we possibly can, and it looked professional. And I think that's what he brought to this club, and that's what he brought to myself. And it was like, I know you used to like a night out now and then. It was like, it kind of stops until we start winning silverware. So my whole thing was, I'm stopping, we make sure we work extremely hard. We go in, diet's good, body fat's good, we're as fit as we've ever been, and we're going to get beat for Gibraltar in the first game. So I'm thinking, this has not went as well as it possibly can. So it was like, don't worry about that. One result, we'll build on it and we'll keep going. And from then, he was so positive in the way we wanted to play. He was like, look, give the opportunity for the goalie to play from the back, and if it's not on, we can dink it into the strikers, but I want you to play as much as possible. The build up, the shape, how hard we worked on in training, what we done in training was just incredible. And it pretty much taken not just my game, but everybody else's game to a different level as well, fitness wise, the understanding of the game as well. And it wasn't just turn up, you just go and play and that's you and hope for the best. It was properly tactically based on how we were going to outplay the team, how we were going to keep possession, we were going to create more chances, and how we got the overloads, whether it was on the left, right, throughout the centre. And it was the build up, and he would show us that based on watching videos, how we work at training, how we're going to play. And then he used to go through the opponent's team individually, show us their strengths, their weaknesses, and how we're going to press, whether it was right foot, left foot. Two centre halves weren't great on the ball, just wanted to ping it long, and it would be just all small details, but it was very, very good. And it was simple things as well that managed to win us the games as well. Just showing a centre half onto his bad foot, and Jamesy coming in from the right wing, pressing him, going back to the goalie, always press the goalie. And it was just that we put teams under so much pressure high up the park that we didn't have to defend that much. They gave us the ball back because they were scared to play, so they ended up playing long. It went back into our goalie, or it went to our centre half, so we were strong and physical, that managed to win it for us. So it was just adapting and learning a different probably side of the game from when Ronnie was in, and also to be a lot fitter than what we were as well.
Oh, that's brilliant, thanks very much. And good luck Aberdeen and everything.
Thank you very much.
Can I go back to see if Joe McHugh is with us?
Hopefully, yes.
Yay!
Yes, Joe, there you go.
How you doing, sir?
Nice picture. Can't believe you got a picture of Tom Rodgers and no me on it.
I may find one. Many goals did you get in cup finals? Don't worry. Almost recovered from my neutral days at the Sunday Mirror. You touched on it in the last question. Red Imps, Gibraltar. There's a big build-up at the time, and it was a horrendous letdown. Virtually everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. How did Brendan react? How did the players react? How did you pick yourselves up from that and end up at Hampden watching Tom Rodgers scoring the winning goal?
It wasn't easy after the game. The lads obviously disappointed getting beat going to Gibraltar, but the manager was incredible. The manager was like, it's one leg. He was like, it's your first game underneath me. He was like, don't worry about that. We'll take them back to Celtic Park. We'll go, we'll score goals, we'll create chances, and I've got trust in yous. I've seen yous in training. I know how yous work prepared to playing on an AstroTurf pitch that had holes in it. That was like pretty much playing on a car park, to be perfectly honest. But he was like, we'll go, we'll be fine. So the next game comes, we managed to win at home. And then it's just that build up of the manager sitting, talking to us, sending those positive vibes to us as well, and speaking to us like human beings as well. And even though he was a manager, you could always go and speak to him, and you could go and speak to him about what happened at the weekend. He would talk about football, he'd talk about everything in general, and ask the lads how they were. And I don't want to say he was a mate, but he was as close to a friend as you possibly can be without being a manager. But then there was also that side that he could snap as well, and he was on it. So it was good to have every single thing that he could possibly do to help us, whether it was better food, whether it was better training, better pitches. he would always fight for us to get the best of the best, and that's what Celtic is. We should be getting the best of the best because that's what we want to see. We've got a hybrid pitch because the manager wanted us to play football throughout the whole winter, and it's managed to survive the winter in Scotland. So things like that, those small details that he managed to get to us, and it shows that he was fighting off the field as much as we were fighting on the field for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have we get John Reid back, or is he still not here?
I'm not here, Chef.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Scott, have you got anything that you want to say before we go?
I'd just like to thank you all very much for your support over the years, and I know this season was hard, but you've got to remember the good times. We've had 9 fantastic seasons, we've had quadruple trebles, and there's not a lot of teams that are going to do that in their history. And I think you've got to make sure that you stick by these lads that are coming through, and you've given them the opportunity, and you support them through thick and thin like you have done with myself and the lads that have been here before. And that's what Celtic do. We stick by each other and we come back. We always win trophies, and they always will do. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be extremely sad that I'm leaving, but I'm also going to be very emotional when I come back as well to see the fans at Celtic Park. And I know it's going to be in an Aberdeen strip, and it's going to be something different, but no, it's going to be a special occasion coming back into Celtic Park and seeing yous all again. And here's hoping I get to 90 minutes as well, and I can wave to yous and say bye at the end of the day, because it's been sad that I couldn't say bye to yous all.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.